The ground begins to shake. It is a subtle vibration at first, traveling through the soles of your feet, a tremor that hints at something massive moving in the distance. The air is thick with the scent of damp earth, rotting vegetation, and the metallic tang of a recent storm. Through the dense, prehistoric mist that clings to the riverbanks, a silhouette emerges. It is colossal, a living mountain of muscle and scales. As the sun struggles to pierce the fog, the light catches the edge of a jawline that has terrified the imagination for millions of years. This is not just a monster, this is an animal, a biological machine perfected by 66 million years of evolution. This is the Tyrannosaurus Rex, and today we are going to live alongside him. We are going to see the world through his eyes, smell the air through his nostrils, and understand what it truly took to be the king of the dinosaurs in a single, relentless day. Welcome to the channel. I am Alex, and I am thrilled to be your guide on this journey back to the late Cretaceous period. We are about to witness a day in the life of the most famous predator to ever walk the earth. But we aren't here to tell monster stories or repeat myths from the movies. We are here to look at the real science, the biology, and the behavior of the T-Rex based on the very latest paleontological discoveries. If you are fascinated by the natural world and the true history of our planet, you are in the right place. Before we descend into this ancient jungle, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our deep dives into prehistoric life. Also, I want to kick off our discussion today with a question that has divided scientists for decades. Do you think the T-Rex was primarily a hunter, a scavenger, or a mix of both? Let me know your theory in the comments below. The mist is finally clearing, revealing the landscape of the Hell Creek Formation. It is a world of vibrant greens and muddy browns, a semi-tropical floodplain crisscrossed by lazy rivers and swamps. Giant conifers tower into the sky, their branches draped in climbing vines, while ferns the size of cars carpet the forest floor. The humidity is high, the air warm and heavy. Standing in the center of a clearing, shaking off the chill of the night, is our subject. Let's call him Rex. Rex is an adult male, weighing in at approximately 8 to 9 tons. He is about 40 feet long, and his hips stand merely 13 feet off the ground. As he wakes, he performs a gesture that is surprisingly bird-like. He ruffles his body, shivering his skin to shake off the dew and the loose dirt. He looks like a giant, terrifying pigeon. But as he straightens up, the sheer power of his anatomy becomes undeniable. For a long time, people believed the T-Rex stood upright, with his tail dragging on the ground like a kangaroo. We know now that this is wrong. Rex stands horizontally, his spine parallel to the ground. His massive head is held out front, balanced perfectly by a thick, rigid tail that acts as a counterweight. This posture is crucial for his survival. It centers his weight over his hips, allowing him to turn quickly and move with surprising agility for an animal of his size. He is not the slow, plodding beast of old black and white movies. He is an athlete. As the morning sun climbs higher, the temperature begins to rise. Rex opens his mouth wide, panting. This isn't just because he is hot. It is a way to cool down his brain. Like many reptiles and birds, he might utilize a form of gular panting, vibrating the throat muscles to evaporate moisture and release heat. His metabolism is high, perhaps not as high as a mammal's, but significantly more active than a modern crocodile's. He needs fuel, and to find fuel, he relies on his greatest weapon, his nose. If you were standing next to him, the first thing you would notice, aside from the overwhelming size, is the sound of his breathing, a deep, rhythmic huffing that resonates in his chest. But inside his skull, something miraculous is happening. The T-Rex possessed olfactory bulbs, the part of the brain dedicated to smell, that were enormous. They were larger than those of any other known dinosaur. In fact, His sense of smell was comparable to that of a modern turkey vulture, capable of detecting a carcass from miles away, even through dense forest cover. Rex turns his head. The movement is precise, almost mechanical. He has caught a scent. It is faint, carried on the breeze from the west. It is the smell of blood, old blood, mixed with the musk of a dying animal. To us, the air smells like swamp gas and mud. To Rex, it is a map. He knows exactly where he needs to go. He begins to walk. The ground shudders with every step. Thud, thud, thud. His stride is long, perhaps 12 to 15 feet. Despite his weight, he does not stomp clumsily. His feet are broad, padded with soft tissue that helps distribute his weight, allowing him to move somewhat silently when he chooses to. He walks through the forest, knocking aside smaller saplings as if they were blades of grass. This is his territory. He knows every tree, every rock, every watering hole. He has likely lived here for decades, growing from a hatchling the size of a chicken into this juggernaut. As he moves, we get a chance to see his skin up close. It is not covered in scales like a lizard, nor is it completely covered in feathers like a chicken. The most current science suggests that large adult tyrannosaurs likely had a covering of primitive bristles or filaments, similar to the sparse hair on an elephant, scattered across their back and neck. But for the most part, his skin is exposed, tough and textured like rhinoceros skin, perhaps colored in earthy tones of browns, greens and grays to help him blend into the dappled forest light. Camouflage is useful even for a giant. It helps him hide until he is ready to strike. Suddenly, Rex stops. His head snaps to the left. About 50 yards away, a small group of Pachycephalosaurus, dome-headed dinosaurs, are browsing on low-lying shrubs. They are nervous animals, always twitching, always listening. Rex watches them. He is not hungry enough yet to waste the energy on a fast chase. These animals are built for speed and agility, darting between the trees where Rex's bulk is a disadvantage. He is a tactical hunter. He knows that an unsuccessful chase burns precious calories that he cannot afford to lose. Instead, he simply takes a step in their direction. The effect is immediate. The Pachycephalosaurus bolt, crashing through the undergrowth. Rex doesn't follow. He merely huffs, a low, rumbling sound that vibrates in his throat and continues on his path. He is asserting dominance, reminding the neighborhood who is in charge. This social policing is part of his daily routine. By keeping the smaller herds on edge, he pushes them into areas where they might become vulnerable later. He arrives at a wide riverbank. The mud here is deep and cracked from the dry season. Rex pauses. He lowers his massive head toward the ground. He is sniffing again, but this time he is tasting the air. He uses his tongue to flick particles into the Jacobson's organ, a secondary olfactory system on the roof of his mouth. This confirms what he suspected earlier. The scent is fresh now. A large herbivore, a triceratops, has been injured nearby. The smell of infection is sweet and pungent. It is the scent of opportunity. Rex steps into the river. The water comes up to his knees. He enjoys the coolness. He is an excellent swimmer, buoyed by the air sacs in his skeleton, another trait he shares with modern birds. But he isn't here to swim. He is crossing to get to the other side, where the terrain is more open. The river is teeming with life. Giant fish, the size of tarpons, swim around his legs, unbothered by the giant. Turtles the size of dining tables slide off logs and splash into the water as he passes. Above him, a giant pterosaur, a Quetzalcoatlus, circles high on the thermals. With a wingspan of 35 feet, it looks like a small plane, but to Rex, it is just another part of the scenery. These pterosaurs are scavengers too. Rex watches them. If they start to circle and dive in a specific spot, he knows that is where the food is. Nature has its own surveillance system. Rex emerges from the river on the opposite bank, water cascading off his flanks. He shakes himself dry, droplets flying like shotgun pellets. He is now in the open floodplain. The sun is high overhead, beating down mercilessly. This is where the real business of the day begins. He sees it in the distance, a dark shape lying in the tall grass. It is a sub-adult triceratops, perhaps only 6 or 7 years old, but already the size of a rhinoceros. It is lying on its side, struggling to stand. Its breathing is shallow. From this distance, we can see a deep gash on its hind leg, likely from a territorial fight with another triceratops. Infection has set in. The animal is weak. Rex freezes. Despite his size, he can move with incredible stealth when he needs to. He slowly lowers his head until it is level with the tall grass. He approaches downwind, ensuring his scent is carried away from the prey. He is patient. He can wait for hours. This is not the mindless aggression of a movie monster. This is calculated patience. He is watching the rise and fall of the triceratops's chest. He is looking for a sign that it is weak enough to finish off without a fight. Every step he takes is slow and deliberate. He places his foot down, tests the ground for twigs or dry leaves that might snap, and then shifts his weight. He can cover 100 yards like this without making a sound. It is a terrifying display of control. He is now 50 feet away. The triceratops lifts its head slightly, sensing danger. It lets out a low, moaning sound. Rex stops. He doesn't blink. His eyes are forward-facing, giving him binocular vision. He can see the triceratops in 3 dimensions, judging the distance perfectly. He knows exactly how far he has to run. The triceratops tries to stand, its legs trembling. It fails and slumps back into the grass. It is now or never. Rex tenses his muscles. The massive muscles in his thighs and tail, which make up the bulk of his body weight, coil like springs. He takes a deep breath, filling his lungs with oxygen. Then he explodes. The contrast between his slow stalk and his sudden attack is shocking. For a beast of his size, he is incredibly fast. Biologists estimate he could reach speeds of up to 18 miles per hour in short bursts. It doesn't sound fast compared to a cheetah, but imagine 9 tons of bone and muscle moving at a sprinting speed. The ground actually shakes. He closes the 50 feet in seconds. The triceratops lets out a panicked bellow and tries to scramble to its feet, turning its 3 horns toward the attacker. But it is too slow. Rex doesn't go for the horns or the shield. He has done this before. He aims for the neck. He opens his jaws. The mouth opens to an almost 90-degree angle. It is a cavernous trap. Inside, rows of 6-inch-long banana-shaped teeth, serrated like steak knives, wait to do their work. The teeth are not rooted deep in the jaw like human teeth. They are constantly shed and regrown throughout his life. The teeth in the front of his jaw are smaller for gripping, while the teeth in the back are the bone crushers. Rex slams his jaws shut on the triceratops's neck muscles. It is a precision bite. He doesn't just bite. He pulls back, tearing through flesh and muscle. The triceratops thrashes, its powerful legs kicking at Rex's legs, but Rex's legs are like tree trunks. The kicks do little damage. Rex shifts his weight, placing one foot on the triceratops's shoulder to pin it down, and bites again. This time, he crushes the vertebrae. It is over quickly. The violence is efficient, not sadistic. Rex does not play with his food. In the wild, prolonged struggles are dangerous. A broken leg or a gouged eye could be fatal for the king. He neutralizes the threat and secures his meal. He steps back, panting heavily, his mouth bloody. He looks around, ensuring no other predators are coming to steal his prize. Scavengers like Tyrannosaurus rex usually tolerate each other only at a distance. If another large tyrannosaur shows up, there will be a fight. But for now, the riverbank is quiet. Rex begins to feed. He uses his neck muscles to rip chunks of meat from the carcass. He doesn't chew, he swallows whole. His stomach is a fermentation vat, capable of dissolving bone and digesting even the toughest tissues. This is where we see the recycler aspect of his biology. By consuming the entire carcass, bones and all, he prevents the spread of disease and returns nutrients to the ecosystem. As he eats, we can observe his teeth more closely. The bite force of the T-Rex is the strongest of any land animal that has ever lived. Estimates suggest a bite force of nearly 8,000 pounds per square inch. To put that in perspective, a lion has a bite force of about 650 pounds. Rex could bite through a car door as easily as we eat an apple. He uses this power not just to kill, but to shear through the thick bones of his prey to get to the nutrient-rich marrow inside. This behavior, eating bones, is called osteophagy. It is one of the reasons we find so many T-Rex fossils with broken and healed teeth. The work of a king is hard on the teeth. While Rex eats, we have a moment to appreciate the science behind the animal. For years the debate raged. Was he a hunter or a scavenger? The truth, as we are seeing now, is that he was an opportunist. He hunted when the opportunity presented itself, especially targeting the young, the sick, or the old. But he would also scavenge a free meal if he found one. Nature does not deal in absolutes. A lion will steal a kill from a cheetah, and a hyena will steal a kill from a lion. The T-Rex sat at the top of the food chain, which meant he had the right to eat whatever he wanted, however he got it. The evidence of healed bite wounds on Edmontosaurus and Triceratops fossils proves that they were attacked while alive, proving hunting behavior. But the evidence of T-Rex teeth marks on bones that were already partly decayed proves scavenging. Rex is the ultimate generalist. Did this behavior surprise you? We often think of predators having strict rules, but nature is all about survival. Let me know in the comments if you think being a generalist helped the T-Rex survive longer than other dinosaurs. The sun is now beginning its slow descent toward the horizon. The heat of the day breaks, replaced by a cooler, crisper evening breeze. The light turns golden, casting long, stretching shadows across the floodplain. Rex has eaten his fill. He consumed perhaps 200 pounds of meat in a single sitting. He is lethargic now, the blood rush of digestion diverting energy to his stomach. He leaves the carcass. There is plenty left for the smaller scavengers, the raptors, the mammals, the pterosaurs. He waddles away from the riverbank, his belly visibly distended. He needs to find a place to rest. He heads toward a rocky outcropping that overlooks the plain. As he walks, we can hear the sounds of the evening changing. The buzzing of insects dies down, replaced by the chirping of early crickets. In the distance, the calls of other dinosaurs echo, low, mournful trumpet sounds from herds settling down for the night. Rex reaches the rocks and finds a flat, raised ledge. This offers him two advantages: a vantage point to see any approaching threats, and a cool surface to lie on, as the rocks hold the day's heat. He lowers his body slowly. It is a laborious process. He lies down on his belly, tucking his legs underneath him. He cannot roll onto his back like a dog or a cat. His anatomy prevents it. He rests on his sternum, his head held up, surveying his domain. This is a vulnerable time for a predator. While he is digesting, he is slow. He cannot run. He relies on his reputation and his size to keep him safe. Most animals in the forest will give him a wide berth tonight. As the sky turns from orange to purple, we get a chance to look at his eyes. T-Rex had eyes the size of grapefruits, and they were positioned in the front of the skull, giving him overlapping fields of view. This binocular vision allowed for depth perception. Humans have this. We can tell how far away an object is. Most prey animals, like deer or cows, have eyes on the sides of their heads. They have a panoramic view to spot predators, but they lack depth perception. T-Rex, like an eagle or a human, was designed to target things. He could judge exactly how far away that Triceratops was before he made his move. But vision isn't his only sense. As the sun disappears, the world goes dark, but Rex is not blind. Inside his ear, he has a specialized structure called the cochlea. Analysis of the skull shows that Rex likely heard best at low frequencies. He could hear the deep, rumbling footsteps of other large dinosaurs from miles away. He could hear the infrasound communication of his own kind, sounds that are too low for human ears to detect, but which travel through the ground and air for vast distances. Even in the dark, the forest is alive with information that he can process. The moon rises. It is a brighter, larger moon than the one we are used to, because the moon was closer to Earth back then. It casts a silvery glow over the landscape. The temperature drops significantly. The humidity lingers, creating a low fog that snakes along the ground. Rex is still awake. Dinosaurs probably did not sleep in long, uninterrupted chunks like humans do. They likely experienced periods of quiet alertness, dozing but keeping an ear open for danger. Rex closes his eyes for a moment, his breathing slowing to a deep, rhythmic pulse. Then, a twig snaps nearby. His eyes snap open instantly. He doesn't move his head, he just moves his eyes, scanning. It is just a small mammal, a distant relative of the badger, sniffing around the edge of the rocks. Rex exhales loudly, a snort of annoyance. The mammal freezes, then scampers away. Interaction with the smaller fauna is a constant part of Rex's life. These mammals are the distant ancestors of humans. To them, he is a mountain range that comes alive, a god of death that walks the earth. They live in his shadow, cleaning up the scraps he leaves behind. It is a humbling thought that our own lineage survived this era by being small, fast, and inconspicuous. Late into the night, the soundscape shifts again. The nocturnal hunters come out. We hear the screech of small dromaeosaurs, the raptors. They are nowhere near as big as the movies suggest. Many are the size of turkeys or wolves. They move through the undergrowth, hunting sleeping lizards and small mammals. Rex ignores them. They are beneath his notice, unless they get too close to a kill he is guarding. Rex stands up. He shakes himself off. The digestion has progressed enough that he feels lighter. He is thirsty. He walks down from the rocks, moving with surprising stealth in the moonlight. He returns to the river. The water is inky black in the darkness. He wades in, lowering his head to drink. He laps up the water, scooping it into his mouth with his tongue. He drinks gallons at a time. The water is cool and refreshing. While he drinks, we see the reflection of the stars in the water. The constellations are different. The North Star is not Polaris, but a fainter star called Thuban. The world looks alien, yet familiar. The biology of thirst, hunger, and sleep is universal. Rex lifts his head, water dripping from his jaws. He looks up at the stars. He doesn't admire them. He doesn't wonder what they are. But the pattern of the stars might influence his migration patterns later in the year. For now, he is content in his territory. He turns and begins to walk back toward the denser forest. He feels the urge to patrol his borders again before dawn. He follows a game trail he has walked 1,000 times. He stops at a specific tree, a towering conifer. He rubs his flank against the rough bark. He is marking his territory, not with urine like a dog, but perhaps with scent glands located near his cloaca, or by scratching the bark with his claws, leaving his physical signature. Other T-Rexes will smell this or see the scratches and know that this area is occupied. We can see the scratches on this tree from previous visits. They are deep, vertical gouges. Over the years, Rex has left his mark here, a diary of his growth. The lower scratches are older, smaller. The higher scratches are newer, made by an adult in his prime. He continues walking. He encounters the carcass of the Triceratops he killed earlier. It is now swarming with activity. A pack of Dromaeosaurs is feeding, chattering and fighting over the scraps. A few small mammals are darting in and out, grabbing pieces of meat. Rex approaches. He doesn't want the meat anymore. He has had his fill, but he wants to assert ownership. He lets out a low growl, a sound that starts deep in his chest and resonates outward. It is a warning, not a threat of attack. The Dromaeosaurs scatter instantly, hissing and snapping at each other as they flee into the dark trees. The mammals vanish. Rex sniffs the carcass, satisfied that his authority is respected, and moves on. He finds a clearing deep in the forest. The canopy here is thick, blocking out the moonlight. It is safe. He circles once, twice, and then lies down. He curls his tail around his body, tucking his head under his chin. This is the roosting position, one that birds still use today. It conserves body heat and protects the vital organs. His breathing slows. His eyes close. The sounds of the forest, the insects, the wind in the trees, the distant calls of nocturnal creatures become a lullaby. The king is asleep. We have watched him wake, patrol, hunt, feed, and sleep. We have seen the tendons in his legs, the intelligence in his eyes, and the power in his jaws. He is not a monster. He is a survivor. He is an animal perfectly adapted to his world, a world that, in the grand scheme of geological time, is coming to an end. But he doesn't know that. He only knows that the sun rose, he conquered, and he lived to see another sunset. This was a day in the life of a T-Rex, a day of hunger, violence, patience, and success. It is a glimpse into a lost world, brought back to life through science and imagination. I hope you enjoyed this journey back in time. It is always a privilege to share these stories with you. If you found this script interesting and learned something new about the Tyrannosaurus Rex, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps us bring more high-quality documentaries to you. Before we go, I have one final question for you. If you could travel back 66 million years and observe one dinosaur behavior that we haven't talked about yet, what would it be? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the prehistoric world. I'm Alex, and from the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and stay curious. Good night.